Greetings. I want to discuss in this session electronic commerce in service industries. Now, the service sector has been exploding all across the world. In Africa and several frontier markets, the service sector is outstripping agriculture, outstripping manufacturing. And I've heard some economists argue, for instance, that, well, Africa's growth or Ghana's growth is not regular because we need to finish agriculture first, then we move into industrial before we go into service. I'm not too sure if in business today, everything should be done in such a sequential manner. Look, the service sector is exploding. The service sector is here. I think what we need to understand is how to use technology or use e-business modes to transform that sector and make it grow even more. Agriculture can come along, manufacturing can come along, but in this module or session, I'm focusing on service firms and e-business. I want you to understand the role of e-business in service firms. And I want you to understand the challenges that service firms may confront in their utilization of e-business. So let's start with some discussion of service industries and broker-based services. A country like Singapore, for instance, is reputed to now have a lot of mineral resources, but it's supposed to be like one of the most profound service hubs anywhere you can find in the world. The best airlines, the best ad agencies, the best real estate firms, the best banking firms. And so when you take service industries, you need to understand that the internet has made it possible, for instance, to have a pure electronic commerce organization that is based 100% online, with almost no fiscal infrastructure overheads and operating at substantially reduced costs. You can have banks and brokerage houses providing a fully digitized banking process, fully digitized, little fiscal interaction, from mobile money to electronic money to mobile banking to electronic banking to mobile finance. Look, you can have real estate agents that work online. They will show you online videos, they will show you photos, and that's how they roll. That's how they sell their products. I mean, there are a lot of hotels now that have virtual tours. So from the gymnasium to the bathroom to whatever, you can go online and get a full sense of the full suite of services available in the hotel without physically setting foot there. So these broker-based services are expanding, and it's something to take cognizance of. Travel and tourism services, excellent example of how the service sector is growing because of technology. Now you can choose a tourist site anywhere in the world, all because of the internet. You don't need to step there physically. Now, for travel and tourism web portals in particular, one major benefit afforded to customers is the almighty issue of fair comparisons. Today you can Google Accra to Mombasa or Accra to Bloemfontein or Accra to Denton, North Texas. And one website can show you 15 different travel options from Accra to Denton, North Texas. You can fly through Amsterdam, you can go through London, you can go through Dubai. South Africa Airways can take you to Washington coming from Joburg. You can fly, so nowadays, for travel and tourism, the services provided are exploding. You can have pictures of major attractions, top destinations, all as a means of choosing a family holiday. Restaurant services, email for checking on a multiplicity of hospitality services. It's all there. Now, the benefit of having e-tourism services, e-travel services, digital services from airlines, travel agencies, hotels and things is that there's free information for you to compare with, free information you can access anytime. And because of this proliferation of information, these hospitality, travel and tour type of services are now falling over themselves to give superior value to customers through substantial discounts. I guess you could argue that not everybody is internet savvy. So one of the limitations might be the fact that, look, not all people use the internet. It may take a long time to find what you want because of this overload of information. And especially in frontier markets, people may still be reluctant to provide credit and debit card details and so on and so forth. I, for instance, have had my debit card hacked and several thousands taken from it, and I had to go into a war with my bank in Ghana for a long time before it was resolved. It was very painful. Even when they claimed they were resolving it, more money was still taken from the card. So I guess because of cybersecurity, cyber threat issues, some people are not too comfortable using internet. But look, the impact of electronic commerce on the travel industry is totally profound. I mean, look, the environment has changed, competitive responses have changed, the industry is clearly transformed. I mean, these days, you can fly between cities in Europe for less than £100 or $100. It's all because of this availability of options. And nowadays, because of the internet as well, some of the traditional functions that are being performed by travel agents is also going away. Because you can go online and do your own comparing, adding, subtracting, buying. They'll deliver boarding passes to your phone, and you are good to go. But I still need to say that, look, because of e-business, for the tourism sector, there's still the offer of low-cost trips, more personalized services, increasing convenience of getting information at home in your bedroom, and generally, players, global players, forward-looking global players in the travel and tourism sector are now tending to support a more customer-focused strategy, such as targeted ads and integration of products. So, for instance, you can go on a hotel website, and they can offer you chauffeur services, they can offer you travel and tour services, or you can go to a hotel website, so they are making all sorts of related offers to customers who are patronizing their services. So travel agencies, as you know them today, one day, they may become extinct because of this onset of e-business and internet deployment. And their activities will be performed by a new breed of intermediaries who most likely will be technology intermediaries. So going forward, I think that for travel and tours, for the hospitality sector, they are going to be working cooperatively, not just one with another, but also with customers. So they will move toward what we call value co-creation, because they will work collectively with their customers to achieve collective and mutually beneficial strategic goals. So that's the story with travel and tourism. It's all EEAs, change forever. Now let's take an example again of services in the area of jobs and employment placement and so on and so forth. Nowadays, employers are looking for employees with specific skills, and individuals are also looking for jobs. Now, what it is that because of the geographical mobility of several people in the world nowadays, there are concentrated websites where jobs are advertised. It doesn't matter where you are domiciled in the world, you can apply for a job today from a bedroom in Ghana, and you might be employed in Malaysia. Or apply for Malaysia and be employed in Lagos. There are millions of job seekers, and there are hundreds of thousands of jobs that are available. Because of e-business and e-commerce, and because of technological intermediation, nowadays, prospective employers and employees are being brought a lot more closer together. Ads are being placed about jobs. Even traditional news outlets like The Economist or Times or Newsweek if they were to place jobs in the physical paper they publish on, chances are they also have mirror adverts on the websites of these international publications. So the employment placement market has been revolutionized because of e-business. There's more information, there's more choice. The only challenge is that sometimes it can be very time consuming for individuals to find all the relevant newspapers or news sites they need to find these jobs. But hey, if you are jobless, I don't think taking time to search for a job, no matter how long it takes, is something to worry about. Internet sites are also helping to do a lot of matching, improving speed of communication. Internet's helping to find applicants better, and so on and so forth. The internet, profoundly as well, is also a perfect environment for finding technologically oriented jobs. So there are job offers, there are job seekers, there are recruiting firms, and there are government agencies and institutions, all recruiting actively for technology-related jobs. The internet is the best place to find technology-related jobs. And the advantages of an electronic job market for job seekers is that you can find very detailed and timely information on a large number of jobs worldwide. You can quickly communicate with potential employers. You can post resumes for large volume distribution. You can search for jobs quickly from any place at any time, and you can obtain several support services at no cost. So there are websites now that can help you to write an excellent resume, help you to understand how your career can be developed, how you can. These days, you don't need anybody to teach you about business coaching or career development. The internet has an explosive amount of material on how to develop strong personal brands, what career development trajectories you should take, the do's and don'ts of interviews, how to write a stupendous CV, and so on and so forth. That's the power of electronic job market. Now, for employers, one of the benefits amongst many is the ability to advertise to a humongous number of job seekers. And then you can save on ad costs. And then you can also lower the cost of processing because everything is electronic. You don't need to go and print it off, go and file it. It's all in a database. The ability to provide greater equal opportunity for job seekers, conduct tests quickly online, find highly skilled people irrespective of their geographical location, fill up positions rapidly, and interview from it. I was interviewed once for a job last year, for a full professor job in a top university in Southern Africa, all by Skype. Offer letter, electronic, everything electronic. Unfortunately, we had some xenophobia attacks at that time, and so I didn't take the job offer. But I was just fascinated that just using electronic means the whole interview process was consummated, offer was made electronically, and it was such a blessing. So the limitations of electronic job markets, however, tend to be things of security, privacy, is my information safe, who is seeing it, who is not seeing it, and for frontier markets, the issue of lack of face-to-face contact. We still like to see each other, talk to each other, and so on and so forth. And so, again, like I alluded to earlier, for the employment placement market, on the net, on the internet, resources like how to find a job, how to write a resume, how to plan your career, it's all fairly, it's widely available, and people need to tap into these resources to improve their personal career trajectories. And even for corporate entities that exist already, they can also have what you call an intranet job market, where job openings are posted electronically, the applications are filed electronically. So that market is not open to people external to the organization, but it's open to those who currently exist within the organization. So like we spoke about real estate earlier, nowadays you can view properties on the internet, You can sort out the organized properties on the internet. You can find out detailed information properties on the internet. You can search, you can compare. You can even apply for funding in some countries on the internet just to be able to buy a house. So nowadays, look, everything is being done online. Commercial real estate, personal real estate, there are websites that are devoted to these types of services. If you go to cyberhomes.com, there's a national list of real estate properties. If you go to comspace.com, you have commercial real estate directories and so on and so forth. There are several mortgage companies in Ghana, in Africa, globally, that all have solid web interfaces for real estate applications to be made. Now, you can also do stock buying, stock selling online. And as for trading of stocks, it's been a booming business for a long time. But again, it's service. And it's facilitated largely by electronic platforms and electronic interfaces. So if you are trading stocks online, it costs between $7 and $20 per transaction. Whereas if you're using a traditional brick and mortar broker, it could cost you anything between $30 and $100 US. You don't have to do a lot of oral communications. When you go for the online stock trading route, there's less chance for errors. There's no buyer broker to push you, and there's a large amount of free information. So examples of websites that do stock trading is Schwab Online, and they give you also information. Other websites you can check out for investment information is www.upside.com. You can check the www.marketguide.com website. And all these are places where you can get information on stocks. Electronic banking is a big thing now, all across the world. Helps to save time and money for users, offers an inexpensive alternative to branch banking. There are banks in Ghana nowadays who will charge you nothing for using an ATM or banking online, but will charge you for entering the banking hall to cash a check. So e-banking also has tremendous benefits. And when it comes to e-banking, the largest concern for consumers and service providers is the issue of security of financial transactions, fidelity of same, and then the warding off of cybersecurity attacks. Once you can do that, we are good to go. And for cyber banking or e-banking, it's the future of banking in respect of the fact that, look, several alliances are being built with banks and software vendors just to provide convenience for the customer. I know a bank that's just about to start operating in the next few months, and their major proposition is that they are going to be big on digital banking, which is a real blessing because they are taking a conscious decision to not invest too much in brick and mortar branches, but to try and make their one defining unique value proposition is that they are first in digital offerings. So that's how some institutions are even position themselves nowadays in order to create a real difference. Billing online. Nowadays, a majority of us get our bills electronically. Very few companies do brick and mortar, hard copy billing anymore. And it's good because you can get back quickly to a vendor if you're not happy about some billing they did. They can change it quickly, send a revised bill, and so on and so forth. And you can pay bills from your online banking account. Nowadays, from the comfort of your bedroom or your living room, you can transfer money, you can pay bills, you can receive money. So even in frontier markets, online banking has become a very, very big thing. And you can have merchant to customer direct billing. You can use an intermediary. You can use personal finance online. And there are other things you could do when it comes to personal finance issues. And these could include, for instance, auctioning for things online. And the thing with online auctions is that irrespective of which type of auction you decide to partake in, there are benefits of buying things at a very high value for money price. And some of the limitations of traditional auctions can be overcome by electronic auctions. With traditional auctions, it only lasts a few minutes, gives buyers little time to make a decision. Bidders do not have much time to examine the goods, and commissions are fairly high up front. Now, with electronic auctions, you can do it on local area networks. So for instance, you can auction a page in Taiwan and Singapore alone. You can auction flyers in Holland. You can auction cars in Japan. An auction started sometime in the mid-1990s over the internet. And some last days, others last a short time. But the critical thing is that you always have very detailed information available, and the names of bidders are typically kept coded to maintain some privacy. And there are different auctioning methods you can use. Now, the benefits for the seller in auctions is that you can sell the goods efficiently with little or no action or effort. But I guess the limitation is that you as a consumer may be unable to physically see the item. So sometimes there could be a possibility of fraud or the semblance of fraud, where after you believe you've partaken of a good auction, you get a final product that is so unlike what you thought you saw when you're doing the online auction. I mean, for buyers as well, the one obvious benefit that there's a huge variety of goods to choose from, and you typically will end up with largely discounted prices. Largely discounted prices. So then that is useful for a multiplicity of things. Auctions are useful for a multiplicity of things, and there are clear rules to follow when you are doing online auctioning. So I now come to a semi-controversial area, which is online publishing. Semi-controversial because whilst it's very useful for delivering information quickly and then helping to disseminate information widely, there's now the advent of what is called fake news or alternative news. So the electronic delivery of newspapers, magazines, news is very, very good. I mean, it's very, very good. But now, consumers of these services and products must be very wary about the authenticity of the publishing source, so that you don't run with something that is patently false, but just because you read it on the internet, you take it as gospel and true. There are different publishing modes, from textbooks to music to all these things. Everything is publishable now. Almost everything is publishable now. And for major newspapers that still do brick and mortar publishing, it is fairly common for them to also have an online version that goes with a subscription to the online version. And the blessing of digital publishing is that you can create an archive that goes back 79 years. Meanwhile, it might be very difficult to find a hard copy newspaper dating back 79 years. So there are clear benefits of this new medium of online publishing and the dynamism it brings along. Knowledge dissemination. Wow, this is very, very interesting, because what I'm doing now is part of virtual teaching, and one of the ways by which we are trying to deliver service as a university through virtual modes. So by the time I finish recording these lectures, you can access them anywhere in the world, anywhere you are, without having to physically meet me. And many universities are offering now online courses, online degrees, and look, MBA programs are being delivered in countries in Hong Kong because lectures are being delivered via interactive TV. So students can decide what and when they want to attend the lectures. So there are all sorts of online material, virtual database you can tap into to get stronger. Then there's online consulting, from medical consulting to management consulting to the delivery of legal advice. You can do that now all through electronic modes. Then you can also think of services in terms of fast-moving consumer services, and then traditional shops, malls, and retail outlets. Nowadays, I go to countries where supermarkets actively advertise the fact that, look, they are the cheapest you can find in terms of a particular grocery product. And that if you find anything cheaper elsewhere, come, they'll refund your money to you. Others also work as hypermarkets. So they take several brands and act as intermediaries for those brands in getting customers to find what we call a one-stop shop solution. So these days, customers can benefit from intermediaries, hypermarkets, by comparing prices, comparing goods and products from multiple sources, and choosing what absolutely gives them the best value. We spoke about intelligent agents, brokerage agents a little earlier. We spoke about e-marketing intermediaries. And so I want to conclude by saying that customers matter a lot. And the service sector has exploded largely because people want better service and more opportunities are created for expanding services using technology. So e-commerce, e-business is here to stay, and it will be a great source of growth again for the service sector, short, medium to long term, even in frontier markets. Thank you for your attention.